Lions just recovered a fumble.
Bits of wisdom.
It's Harry Houdini, I'm pretty sure.
That's when it kind of becomes Home Improvement After Dark.
I guess that leaves us at the question of the week.
Very good. I don't know if you noticed, Jordan, but a really cool aerial shot of the table. Reasonably funny.
User review.
Does everybody know what time it is?
Home and podcast time.
That's right. Binford Tools is proud to present a Home Improvement podcast. My name is Adam, and you all know my co-host, Jordan Theodore Lyons.
Hola, Senor Duke.
Hey, what up with it?
I thought in honor of Mrs. Grabowski, we would do the whole episode in Spanish. What do you think?
We're not going to get very far. I only took 2 years high school. Maybe you
I took 2 years high school. What else do you need?
Did you take college Spanish?
No.
How interesting of a start for us to talk about the Spanish that we know versus what we don't know. How's everything going for you, pal?
It's all right. We're doing all right. This is the second straight year that I've been recording right before a hurricane, so
yeah,
interesting.
Florida,
Interesting tradition.
Florida sure is a great place to live, huh, Jordan?
98% of the time, yeah.
98 degrees every day down there.
Ooh.
That's why you're there. But every once in a while, you got to face these disasters. So,
Me and Nick Lachey.
That's right. Most certainly. Well, we will be, on behalf of myself and Home and Podcast listeners, we'll be wishing you and everyone else in Florida the best of luck as the storm nears, and shout outs and thoughts to everybody in Houston and the Texas area that's been affected by things. Right, Jordan?
Absolutely, yeah. Not great times for weather, but
no, certainly not.
I did want to share something that I stumbled upon the other day randomly, just flipping through some old channels. They had reruns of the Drew Carey Show, which we've talked about before, how I think both of us had watched that a little bit when we were younger.
I spent a fair amount of time watching the Drew Carey Show as a young man right before bed, yeah.
Yeah, not more than maybe most people.
Yeah.
But
I would say so.
but
Cast episode 1.
Oh yeah, that's our next one. But yeah, so I was watching that, and they were repairing a roof, and believe it or not, they got a TV out there. But on the TV was none other than Tim Taylor of Tool Time, and they were watching a Tool Time episode, and I thought, wow, that's crazy. I never saw that one coming.
You don't say. Cross promo, ABC Network.
Yeah, very brief. Both
brief,
on ABC,
yeah.
but that was, it was maybe like a 5-second spot, but it was just totally unsuspected because, I mean, I probably haven't watched the Drew Carey Show in like 15 years or something.
Do you feel like Home Improvement's kind of just infiltrating your life, whether you want it to or not? Sometimes I feel that way.
Yeah, it kind of shows up everywhere now.
Or like you'll see somebody from an episode we've covered, and you'll be like, "Oh, that's Joe Morton.
Recognize.
That's Morton's Meats." Oh
yeah.
Man.
Yeah,
How
people send us lots of articles on Facebook and Twitter, just information about Home Improvement that they think we don't know and we do know. So we've kind of become the Home Improvement
experts. Or a lot
experts.
of information that they think we care about and we don't. But keep sending us stuff. We do like it.
Well, yeah,
I mean, it's on the roof. How'd they get the TV
That's
on
what
the
I'm
roof?
wondering. And I don't know if there were any cords or not. I think it did have rabbit ears on it, so I guess that was part of it. But I don't know. It was out there. It was
Speaking of
dangerous.
rabbit ears, Jordan, how's your little guy?
Guy or girl, both of them are great.
Oh, I forgot you have two. What a weird situation there. Jordan, thanks for sharing that. I'm trying to think what's new with me. I did see It last night, and I was about as excited to see It as I've been to see a movie at the theaters in a very, very long time.
More excited than The Dark Tower?
A lot more excited than The Dark Tower, yeah. And that's probably because the It reviews have been very favorable. The Dark Tower reviews were quite poor.
But you should still go see Dark Tower, right?
Jordan, it's important that people see Dark Tower because not everything can be a Marvel movie or an indie. There has to be room in the middle for these kind of movies. No,
all right, go ahead with it.
I enjoyed It quite a bit. I like the original TV adaptation quite a bit, although it's a little bit cheesy and kind of poorly acted at times. I've read the novel relatively recently, so I'm a big fan of It and Stephen King as a whole. And I liked it. There are some things I didn't like about it, but on the whole, I was not disappointed. So I think it's going to make a ton of money. So I mean, I'm not going to say you have to go out and see this one like I did The Dark Tower, because I think it's going to be okay regardless. But there's some good scares and some good coming of age stuff, and it was a fun experience.
Were
overall.
you spooked at all? You were spooked?
I was spooked at times, yeah. I spook relatively easily, I would say, but there's some good scares in there. I would say one of my primary beefs with the new one, and this is going to make me sound kind of lame, but that's okay. I think that the clown, the teacher, it, as they say, they relied a lot on like CGI kind of stuff with it, so it was not as much practical effects. So he would get really big, or he would like kind of contort his body in ways that a human body couldn't. Whereas the original Tim Curry Pennywise was just a man in a clown suit, which I think is actually scarier.
I
because
agree.
It is more practical, but. I might be alone on that. I think the new clown was very, very scary, but at times I kind of thought, well, this might be a little bit too much just in terms of the effects. But
well, yeah, and like you said, I mean, if you're using the effects, it's not as realistic. Like it's not as believable, so it's perhaps less scary.
Yeah, there was a little bit of that. But Jordan, I'm assuming you won't see this one. You don't dig on stuff like this, right?
No, not really. I'm not going to be using my Movie Pass subscription on this.
Did you
one.
get that?
No, I didn't. I might get it towards the end of fall though, because there's a lot of movies coming out that I want to see right around October, November, December.
Right.
So
is there like a new Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe thing coming out?
Yeah, there's that, and then there's like 40 Pixar movies.
Oh, sweet, man.
And then My Little Pony.
Classic. There's what is it, The Bachelor and the Bobby Sox 2 or something?
Oh man, Cary Grant comes back. They do a lot of CGI in that.
That's like Tupac doing a concert. Cary Grant's back acting against a 12-year-old girl or something.
Yeah.
All right, Jordan, what are we covering this week?
We're going to be covering Feud for Thought. This is going to be episode 60 for us. 60 episodes, Adam.
Jordan, can you believe we've done 60 episodes of this show?
I can't believe it.
It is pretty crazy. Has it gone by fast? Well, I wouldn't say that. Has it gone by slow?
I wouldn't say slow. I feel like it's rhythmic right now. We're in a rhythm. It just seems like a normal routine every week. And
this season has gone by very quickly, I would say. The fact that we're already 10 into this season is pretty quick. But episode 60, wow. We only have, I don't know, like 1,000 to go or something?
140 or something like that.
1,000 episodes left? That's not so bad. Episode 60, Feud for Thought. We got some alt titles.
Time for coffee.
This episode's sponsored by Mr. Coffee. if you want your coffee pot to go off at random times, then buy Mr. Coffee.
Actually, we do have a sponsor for this episode, and that we are thankful for. This episode is sponsored by Mark Vollebeck, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Mark, thank you so much for donating to Patreon. So if you want to be a cool sponsor like Mark, you can go to patreon.com/HomeandPodcast and do so. And sponsors like Mark, they help us keep the show running, so thank you, Mark.
Without sponsors like Mark, we don't even make it to episode 6, let alone 60.
Jeez,
right,
yeah.
Right,
so,
Jordan?
Yeah, absolutely. Well done,
right.
Adam.
Yeah, thank you, Mark, and thank you, Mark, for indulging us. All right, alt titles. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hold on. I gotta give the episode information. My goodness, you're putting the cart before the horse, I think.
I believe I wrote a blog. Well, that's not interesting. Never mind. Go ahead.
Are you going to do your beef list right now?
Nah, go ahead.
All right, so this one's co-written, so we got 2 again. Elia Schuenman, I can never pronounce his name. He last did Arrivederci Binford. And Marley Sims also co-wrote this, and she did I'll See You in My Dreams. So those were 2... Well, no, I guess one was sad and one was scary. I'll say scary. But aired December 1st, 1993. No plot keywords. Now we can get into alternative titles.
Glad we waited for that.
Yeah.
All right. Feud for Thought. I have 5. You have 5 as well?
Yeah, this is the first time I went over and did the Adam shotgun method, where I just do 5 up there.
You just throw. It's like you throw everything up against a wall and see what sticks.
See what sticks.
Right. A couple of mine are... Barely.
And I told you before the episode started that I might have to explain all of mine, and that's a recipe for disaster.
This is going to be a 2-hour episode. All right, you go first. Go with your first one.
All right, I'm going to start off strong. Joni loves Jilly.
Okay, well, I better do mine. Joni loves Jackie.
Oh, man. Oh, we're really good.
Clever. Obviously, a play on Joni loves Chachi.
Yeah, we really did good there. All right, so my second one is Sayonara Sadarsky.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I thought about that. We got Ashley in the mix. Brad's all of a sudden 16 or something.
Yeah.
All right. Capital punishment. They're in DC for
I
a
got
reunion. Jill's being punished, or Jill's
No, I got. You didn't even need to explain that one.
Well, you didn't laugh enough.
Oh, sorry.
Laugh
All
more.
right. Well,
Laugh more.
you most doubt will not most doubt. Wow. Oh,
Is that
boy.
your third one?
Yeah, you most doubt. Do you get it?
Most Doubtfire.
You most definitely will not laugh at this one, I think.
Okay.
All right. The Wheezy Weasel.
Who's the weasel?
Well, there's two things that go with Weasel. Randy's a weasel. He's the Wheezy Weasel because he locks Al out.
Yeah.
And then they mention someone's a weasel later on. So.
Doesn't Randy have bronchitis?
Sure does.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Been there,
All
done
right.
that.
This one barely counts. A ruined reunion.
That's right up my alley.
Yeah, it's like a very alliterative. All right,
Yeah.
carry on.
All right, the Big Wrinkle.
That's good. I tried to do something with that. I couldn't. I'm having difficulty reading one. Okay. Parenting ain't easy. These are so bad. Obviously, a play on pimpin'.
Oh my goodness. All right, my last one. Jill's jacked up.
Oh, that's really good. That's the best one. All right, my last one. Suited for one another. Emphasis on the
right.
suited.
Yeah, definitely.
I have
wow.
none of them that I will bat for. Mine are terrible. Yours, you at least have Jill's jacked up, I believe.
Jill's
You
jacked
said
up.
up.
You don't even
You said
remember
up.
it.
You said up, I hope. Those are not so hot, but neither is this episode. I didn't think so. Let's get into it.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, plot synopsis written by Bernie. Elle watches the boys while Jill and Tim attend Jill's 20th high school reunion in D.C. Jill tries to avoid Joni, the girl who stole her boyfriend, but they talk and Jill hears the whole story.
Get ready for the big twist at the end of this one.
I would say it's
akin to the Sixth Sense.
I would call it a big wrinkle.
They're suited for each other. All right, we open. Brad walks through the side door with his friend, and I'm doing air quotes. You can't see it, obviously. Ashley. So, Sayonara Sadarsky, as you said, he's got a new girl. Brad all of a sudden appears older. This girl looks older.
Definitely.
He's growing up before our very eyes, Jordan.
He is. He's even given
I
her...
shed one tear over as I looked out the window to the sky and saw the clouds.
Like a eagle flying
a bald
over.
eagle soaring above the sky. I shed a singular tear and thought, wow, kids really grow up fast.
Yeah, he's even given her his varsity jacket, I'm pretty sure. So things are
Brad
moving quickly.
I thought Brad was in like 8th grade. Where's he getting? I guess you can get varsity jackets in 8th grade if you...
You just go to Dunham's.
Yeah, I always felt like anybody that had a varsity jacket before they played a varsity sport was kind of a loser, but that might
Brad's
just
obviously
be me.
not a loser.
Brad throws bricks at greenhouses, so that's about the definition of cool. So they want to go study in the bedroom, which this is like happening really fast. I don't know how I feel about Brad wanting to get a girl up to his bedroom, but I guess I'm going to have to get used to it. And Jill says, why don't you just do it at the table? Do it being study. And, or no, she says, keep the door. She says, I'll clear the table. And Brad says, we'll go up to the room. She says, keep the door open or something like that.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. There's a phone call. Ring, ring. I don't really understand the logistics of the phone call. Like, who's calling her? Why are they calling?
They're following up. I mean, we wouldn't know because no one's ever called us for our our high school reunion.
Yeah, this is something we can talk about after this scene. But so Jill is reminded of her 20-year reunion in Washington, D.C. I didn't know Jill. I guess she moved around so much that
They could have put it anywhere.
they should have put it somewhere like really cool. Like, what if you could choose?
Are you
one,
calling DC not cool?
I love D.C. It's one of my favorite cities, but it's very familiar to me, so I wasn't. Also, this doesn't capitalize on anything DC related, so like it's
That's
just
true. It's
interior.
just, yeah, why are you there?
If you could pick any place to have Jill's high school reunion, where would you pick, Jordan? Quick.
Hawaii.
Okay, yeah, that would be cool. Like outside, I would pick Alaska.
That'd be cool too.
Just exotic.
I think they would work too. You know.
Yeah, you could have Tim like outside in the elements in Hawaii. You know, everybody's everybody's getting laid. You know.
They're going to a luau. That'd be fun.
That would be cool.
Tim gets up there and starts twirling fire.
That would definitely happen.
Okay.
If it was in Alaska, Tim would like there would be a off-screen like bear.
I was just gonna say a bear attack.
Tim, but like we would see like Tim's clothes get shredded, sort of, but we'd never see the bear. Anyways, next Saturday there's a 20-year reunion. Jill commits to going pretty quickly.
This has got to be like an unexpected $3,000 to $5,000 expense.
Yeah, they have the money though. Jill's working for a magazine. Tim doesn't want to go. We learn a little bit about Jill's high school experience. Jill doesn't want to go because she doesn't want to see Joni Graham. Joni Graham was her high school best friend, but she double-crossed Jill.
Boy, did she.
And stole Jill's boyfriend, Jack. And Jill still feels bad about it. And if I'm Tim, I'm thinking, like, this doesn't reflect very well on me that my wife is still so upset about some high school indiscretions, you know?
20 years ago.
20 years ago. And Jill's still very upset about it. She doesn't want to see Joni. She doesn't want to see Jack. And yet she wants to go to the reunion.
She's not making a ton of sense here.
This episode, she's a little bit, what's the word? Off. I was going to say off. Jordan, let's talk about reunions. We're supposed to have our 10-year reunion probably this year, wouldn't you say? Isn't that about right?
Yeah, it would be next year, I think.
Next year. Have you heard anything?
I haven't heard a word.
Has Katie Durkin reached out to you specifically?
I was going to say, are you going to name drop the old president?
Katie Durkin.
She has not reached out to me directly. I'm wondering if maybe we're too big time and they're trying to keep us away. Or they think we're going to monopolize it with our podcast.
You would not go if you were invited, if there was one, right?
Yeah, unless I was home for the summer or something.
Even if you were home, would you go?
If I was home, I don't see... Are you going to go? That's the real question. Because I haven't seen you in forever, so if you're going, I'm there.
I don't think I would go under really any circumstances, which is funny because like my whole life I always thought like, yeah, I would go to that. That'd be fun. Like that would be cool. I remember in college I would talk to Anthony, friend of me, not necessarily the podcast, but and we would say like, yeah, we'll totally go. It'd be really funny. But now that it's getting closer, I really don't have any interest at all.
It seems like also Katie has no interest because nothing has been set up. I think even they do 5-year reunions and stuff, don't they, too?
Yeah, my parents just had like a really weird one. It was like, my parents had their 50, no, they wouldn't like that. 45th reunion. They wouldn't like that. That would mean they're older than they are. So yeah, I think it just depends on your class. But yeah, I don't want to go to the reunion, but I would like Katie to reach out and invite both of us so that we can say no, if that makes sense. But yeah, I haven't heard. Mum's the word. I haven't heard anything.
Well, maybe we can put this out there and get the juices flowing.
I mean, Katie definitely listens.
Definitely.
She's a Patreon subscriber. No.
Under a different name, apparently.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, that's the opening scene. I guess I'm kind of interested because it seems like they're going to be going away from the house. Although
it's setting up what's to come. It's an interesting enough opening scene because, yeah, it is. Like, we know they're going to be going somewhere. It's going to be a little bit different.
I'm just worried.
They don't really follow through on the interest, in my opinion, but it's an okay setup.
Yeah, I'm just worried about Brad and Ashley. That's all I'm worried about right now.
Well, so's Al.
Yeah. So
later on.
All right. So later at home, they're bringing the luggage downstairs. They're all packed and ready to go. And Jill has a lot more bags and very heavy bags. And Tim tries to lift it and drops it on the ground, basically. And then Tim goes on a little... not tirade, but he goes on a little monologue about the difference between men and women and
he does his shtick.
Yeah, he does his shtick. I guess it rings true in my experience, but I don't know that that's the same for everyone. Women pack more than men.
More than men.
Sure.
Yeah, I suppose so, but is it particularly funny or interesting? No, I don't think so.
It is an observation, though.
Observational humor. He's Jerry Seinfeld-esque in this one.
So he's just got a duffel bag, and he also has a suit in a bag. A very small, I don't know.
Suit in a pouch.
Suit in a pouch. That's right. The pouch is the word I'm looking for. It's wrinkle-free, though. They fit a tie in there somehow. Sounds like a good deal, but Jill is skeptical. Doorbell rings, and it's Al. He has a much bigger bag than Tim, but he's going to be there for 2 days and 2 nights taking care of the kids. So he also brought some cupcakes for the kids, so it sounds like he's still a cool babysitter until we see him later on.
They're really taking advantage of Al. Like, how many times has Al babysat
I was just going to say...
3 or 4 already?
I hope he gets paid this time.
He needs to, especially with what he goes through.
So Jill is going to give him lots of directions, such as Mark has to go to an ice rink for a birthday party. Brad and Ashley will be studying, and he needs to keep his eye on them. Randy, unfortunately, is sick with bronchitis, so you can see that Al is a little bit overwhelmed here. And
this scene, her instruction goes on for so long. I know it's supposed to be funny, but I was just ready for it to be done. She just keeps going and going and going.
She's like the Energizer Bunny.
Yeah, but not as cool.
But Tim only has one instruction.
Don't touch my tools.
Yeah, so he's got his priorities in order.
Yeah, he definitely does. I don't have much more to say about this.
No, there's not much going on here. So at the hotel, we've flown to DC now. They're checking in. The receptionist has a regal voice, a nice deep regal voice, and Tim mocks him, which is, I feel like, super rude.
Yeah, it doesn't. And it'd be one thing if he was mocking him because he had kind of taken a shot at Tim, but he just sort of makes fun of this guy based off nothing. This actor, who is credited as hotel clerk, is Tom Simmons. Jordan, you might know this guy from The Truman Show, where he played a garage attendant. Commando, he's Kirby's driver. Or, hey, Jordan, how about this one? Devil in the Flesh, where he plays Fireman #2.
Oh, that's that for sure.
Seen any of those?
I'm actually more familiar with Fireman #1.
Okay. I'm trying to think. He has how many credits to his name? 49, so he's still doing some things, but, it's just a short
I've never seen any
role.
of those, so.
No, well, you should check out. You never seen The Truman Show?
I have not. I know about it.
It's quite good. I like it. But I don't know that his role as garage attendant is worth tuning in for. But The Truman Show is a recommended flick. So,
all right. So they are going to try to go to the Smithsonian while they're in town. The receptionist talks up history, but Tim is much more interested in the pop culture elements of the Smithsonian. Then the former friend, recognizes Jill, and they do an Adams cheer. It's kind of like SNL, the old SNL skit with Will Ferrell and
Sherry O'Terry.
Yeah. And they do a whole cheer, and Jill still doesn't recognize this person. It turns out it's Leslie Morris, former co-cheerleader captains. And
I guess they don't okay, go ahead and say why they don't recognize her, and then I'll go.
Well, here's the thing. She got a new nose.
Yeah. So they make that joke. Like, she says she got a nose job, and they kind of pause for laughs, and nobody laughs. It's really strange because that hardly ever happens where there's just, like, a pause, and there's, like, one person that is like, huh. But, like, they're really playing it for laughs. It's not especially funny. Jill being the cheerleading captain, that's an interesting wrinkle, as you might have said earlier on. It doesn't necessarily fit in with her personality, but...
I mean, how long was she at that school, too?
Yeah, that is true. She would have moved, but... Evidently, she was a cheerleading captain, which just doesn't strike me as the type. But we carry on. Jill sees Joni Graham, and this is where Jill is kind of like, "This is how old are you?" You know, it's very childish. She sees Joni Graham, and then she says, "Hide me, Tim." But she's spotted by Joni, and they have a quick kind of awkward conversation. But Jill wants to bail pretty quickly. You know, there's only like 10 people at this reunion anyways. It must have been a small school, but she wanted to go to the reunion, but she didn't want to talk to Joni Graham, but there's only a few people there, so she's kind of forced to. It's a kind of a stupid premise.
Yeah, why did you come to DC? I just don't understand.
It's a long trip. Joni says she wants to talk later on. Jill says, we don't need to talk about anything. It's water under the bridge. Who even remembers what happened all those years ago? I certainly don't. And then Jill just kind of bails, and then Tim, makes some jokes. But
yeah. Well, Tim, she also says, like, I don't remember even the guy's name, and Tim does apparently. So, and that's it. We're kind of left in this awkward stage, and we know they will meet later on. So later at the hotel, Tim and Jill are still waiting to check in, and they're kind of sitting down, and they're having a conversation.
They're really making use of this set. They're really getting everything they can out of this.
Like, if we're gonna leave the normal home set, we got to use it at least 4 times. So. They're having a conversation. Tim's like, you got to decide what you want. Like, do you want to be here? Do you not want to be here? Do you want to be mad at her? Do you not want to be mad at her?
Tim is an audience surrogate here. I mean, these are things I was thinking as I watched this episode.
And guys would have handled this differently, according to Tim. They would have just punched each other and got a beer later on. So I guess
there's too much of that kind of.
I was gonna say that's the second one in this episode.
Men do this. maybe he's right, I guess, but I don't know. Those kind of blanket generalizations about like men aren't petty, women are just it's just kind of lazy, and that's not my favorite part of this show, to be sure.
Yeah. So Jill goes on to spill the beans about why it hurt so much. It was her first real friend who backstabbed her because of all the moving, so we get that carried through again.
Jordan, have you ever been backstabbed by a friend?
This is really something we shouldn't talk about on air.
Question of the week? All right, fine.
No.
I'm just kidding. No, not since Katie Durkin didn't invite me to the class reunion.
Yeah, that one still rings true every single year. The worst part about all of this, learning that your boyfriend is cheating on you with your BFF, is that she had to hear it from Alice the Crossing Guard.
Yeah, I mean, one of my alternate titles was almost going to be Crossed by the Crossing Guard, but which maybe would have been better than what I had, but she's not really crossed by her. It's more just like a play on words, but that's a kind of funny line, I suppose.
Yeah, that was maybe... Okay, this says a lot about this episode. Maybe my favorite line of the episode.
Yeah, so, I was kind of thinking that as well.
Yeah. So Tim says that people change. It was a long time ago. Forgive and forget. And after all, she ended up with Tim, so what's so bad? And then Jack walks in because he wants to ruin the moment, and he's a good-looking fellow, tall guy. Tim is instantly jealous.
He's not that good-looking.
I didn't think so either.
It's played like George Clooney kind of walks into the screen, but I don't know, he's a regular-looking guy.
I was watching the first episode of Cheers the other day, and they play the same thing up with, I guess his name's Sam on there.
Ted Danson.
But Ted Danson. They play him up like he's the most debonair, amazing, handsome man.
I actually watched the first episode of Cheers within the last 6 months or so. But here's the thing. Sam's better looking, or Ted Danson is better looking than this guy.
Sure.
And he's more suave and dynamic. And he's a former professional baseball player.
You're right. I'm not trying to compare them exactly, but I thought that was also
Ted Danson's
similar.
hot, Jordan.
All right.
I have a bio on this guy. Jack is played by Michael Toland. He has 27 credits to his name. This is maybe his biggest role. He appeared in the film Eddie and the Cruisers as Kenny's replacement. He was in The Young and the Restless for a time. And he was in a show that I'm not familiar with. And it's very rare that I've never heard of a show that seemingly was on air for a long time. This is called First and 10, The Championship. And he played Billy Cooper, and it was on 42 episodes from 1984 to 1990, and it appears to have been a very early HBO show.
Huh. Yeah, I've never heard of that either. Is it like a football show?
It is a football show. Okay, let me describe the picture to you. So the image is, there's a football. I'm trying to scroll down. We're just slow. Okay, the smash hit comedy as seen on HBO. There's a football with a woman's heel standing on it. So... A little bit of sport, a little bit of sex, perhaps, kind of a precursor to maybe Blue Mountain State, a show I've never watched, but people do. Hey, get this, O.J. Simpson was on the show.
Oh, that's probably why I got canceled.
this is pre any trouble, but if you know about First and 10, The Championship, reach out, let us know. Seems like an interesting thing.
It seems like that's not going to get any response.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You probably also should do a bio for Joni.
Joni loves Jackie. Okay, so Joni is played by Lee Garlington. 220 credits, so she be working.
Did you recognize her before?
She looked familiar. Is there one role that you think you
I knew
know
her from Friends. She plays Joey's dad's mistress.
Oh. Joey's dad's mistress. I watched Friends. We watched all Friends last year.
It's the episode where everyone keeps walking in on everybody in the shower.
Oh, that's a lot of Friends episodes, I feel like. That premise seems like it's used quite often. I'm sure I would. I can't make the connection right now, but she's in a lot of things. Known for 1 Hour Photo, A Lot Like Love, American Pie 2, and Cobra.
Cobra
is Cobretti. Also, a lot of TV work. Let's see. Of late, she has been in just a lot of The Killing, a lot of TV shows that I don't really watch that are somewhat popular. She'll pop up for an episode or two. She's also in Psycho 3, Boston Legal. She did an arc on The West Wing, Grey's Anatomy. You name it, she's been in it. She's pretty good. She definitely has one of those faces where it's I've seen. If you watch TV in the 90s, you've probably seen Lee Garlington.
For sure. And Joni got married to Jack. Joni and Jackie together.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if we said that, but anyways,
we've said it at least 3 times.
Let's say it one more time, please.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
All right. So let's move on. Next scene at home. We're gonna leave DC, go back to Detroit. Al is coming down the stairs. He caught Brad and Ashley with the door shut, so they can no longer be up there. They got to study at the kitchen table.
In Brad's defense, the wind did blow it shut.
It's true,
so.
And that happens quite a bit inside of their house. So Randy is trying to eat some cookies, but not before dinner, and he wants to go outside because he hasn't been able to go out for 5 days.
It's pure chaos at the Taylor house right now, Jordan.
Yeah,
pure chaos.
This is what I imagine my house was like for my parents a lot of the time.
Yeah, with all those paint cans being knocked over.
What you're telling me. So Al is in over his head, and
Mark is also trying to prepare for his skating party by walking around in the house with skates on, which I'm not.
Are you gliding?
I'm not good at. I maybe ice skated twice in my life. I'm not good at it, and I've rollerbladed only at field trips, and I'm not good at that either. So I don't necessarily have I don't have it down by any means, but I'm pretty sure that's not a good kind of simulation. Is like walking around the house in your.
No, you can't really glide like he's supposed to. No wonder he's having so much trouble. But Al's first pizza / skating party was when he was 32. So
I can't decide if that's funny or not.
I don't know. It just seems like another thing that they throw in there for Al. So Randy does go outside to throw the ball around, so Al has to go out there and try to catch him. And Randy says, "What's wrong? You used to be cool, and now you're more like mom with a beard." Poor Al. He's really getting the brunt of it.
His kids are being unnecessarily cruel.
They are. So Randy leaves. The Wheezy Weasel leaves. And he goes inside, and he locks Al out. And they run to the other door, and he locks that as well. So Al is in quite the predicament here. How's he going to get back inside?
Well, Jordan, he's going to have to seek advice from Wilson in a subverted fence segment that we should play a clip for.
Problems, temporary Taylor Dad?
Oh, hi, Wilson.
Hi-ho.
Hey, listen, Wilson, you wouldn't happen to have any extra keys, would you?
Yes, indeedy.
Great.
Matter of fact, I have a whole Taylor packet. Tim leaves it with me for all the different babysitters. All right, here we go. We got some Band-Aids, some gauze, handcuff keys. There we go. House keys.
Thank you, Wilson. Those boys are, they're a handful.
They are a puckish band of rapscallions.
You know, Wilson, I always pictured myself getting married and having a bustling house full of kids. Boy, I'm starting to reconsider.
Well, Al, I wouldn't write off parenthood entirely. When you start off with a baby, you're a baby as a parent. Then as the children grow up, the parent grows too, so that hopefully when adolescence is reached, you're both ready for it.
Well, it's a wonderful thought, Wilson.
Well, being a bachelor, it's easy to come up with these things. But I wouldn't worry about it, Al. I suspect that someday you'll make an excellent parent.
You really think I'd make a good parent?
Certainly. I seen the way you take care of Tim.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we're at the fence, Jordan, and it's not Tim talking to Wilson, it's not Jill talking to Wilson, it's Al talking to Wilson, and he wants to know if Wilson has an extra key. Well, fear not, Wilson has all kinds of extra keys and supplies for babysitters, I guess, was the line. I don't know.
Well, Tim provided a kind of an emergency kit.
Yeah, which is very responsible of Tim and not necessarily what I know about the character. That doesn't necessarily make sense.
I thought that would maybe be a Jill thing.
Yeah, it does seem more like Jill. Al voices his doubts about parenting. You know, he always thought he wanted to have kids, but after this chaotic day, he's decided that he wants to change his life plan. So it must be he didn't have a lot of conviction behind that statement in general. If one tough evening makes him not want to have kids. Wilson tells him that, you know, it's different when you have your own. You know, when you begin to have kids, you're also kind of I believe he says you're a baby parent or you're a young parent, and then as the kids mature, you mature as a parent as well. And then Wilson notes that it's easy for him to say because he's a bachelor. I was wondering, doesn't Wilson, and maybe this is wrong, and people will tell me if I am wrong, but maybe doesn't Wilson have a daughter later on?
He does.
So
but I don't know that he was ever married.
Oh, I see. Wilson. Wilson, you bad. And then it ends with Wilson saying that he'd be a good father because he takes care of Tim. And then Al does the Tim grunt.
Oh, yeah. Al feels encouraged at the end of this. Also, during this whole scene, Al is out of breath from running from one side of the yard to the other.
It's such a short run. It's like 5 feet. It also takes him longer than it should, too. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but like the doors are like 3 feet apart, but that's like a 5-second run. It's interesting.
He needs to get back in shape. So,
and when I say interesting, I mean interesting in quotes. So it's not
no one can ever see your quotes, so you gotta stop doing that.
I know. Why do I keep doing quotes? It's like this. I'm on episode 60. I'm acting like it's episode 1.
Jeez, what a noob. All right, so let's go to the reunion, and it's time to socialize. Tim and Jill walk in. Tim's suit is wrinkled like cray. It's not good.
Yeah, but he screwed that up.
Often hotels
shocking.
can like press stuff like this pretty quickly for you, but I guess they did it way too late. So Jill's old Spanish teacher is there, Mrs. Grabowski, and she comes over and she wants to hear Jill chat in Spanish.
Real original, the Spanish teacher that only talks in Spanish.
It rings true to my.
Are teachers at high school reunions? I don't think they are.
I didn't know that. I don't know. Maybe.
I don't think so. I mean, why would they be? Like they
don't really miss their students.
They don't have any allegiance. I mean, you have to be really not have a lot on your plate if you're showing up to a class reunion every year. You don't like have an allegiance to any real class.
Be careful. Don't offend our teaching listeners.
Jordan, if anyone's going to offend teachers, it's going to be the person that's a teacher, right?
Oh, man.
I don't know. It struck me as being a thing that isn't real.
I don't know. I mean, as someone who's never been to a reunion, I wouldn't know.
I went to my sister's 10-year reunion because she organized it, and I was...
had some time in your hands?
I was 18 years old, so I didn't have a lot going on, and I didn't see any teachers there, Jordan.
Maybe it depends on the reunion.
I mean, you could say that about anything, but let's
if you have any information on reunions, we'd love to hear it.
Next bit.
All right, so Joni comes up. They got switched to the same table because Joni really, really wants to explain what happened.
Joni has to talk to Jill.
She has to. Joni does. Joni loves Jilly. Someone is trying to address the room as they sit down, and there's quite the microphone malfunction, and it makes lots of noises. We learned that Jack was supposed to fix this, and Tim offers some advice. Apparently, he knows what's going on here, and Jack says, "Hey, do you want to help me out?" He says, yeah. So the boys leaving Joni and Jilly at the table. And they're going to really talk through some of their past. But first, they want to talk a little bit about their own kids. They show pictures and stuff in their wallets, which is really like a very 90s thing because now everyone would just use their cell phone and or get on Facebook or something. But, Tim's over there trying to fix the speaker or whatever, and some sparks start to fly. So he's doing his usual thing. Whether it's in D.C. or Detroit, he's causing the ruckus. And Joni lets out that one of her kids is 20 years old. And do you remember...
This is the 20-year class reunion.
Oh, my gosh. It turns out that Joni was 2 months pregnant when they graduated. This is perhaps, so far, the most scandalous part of the show, maybe? Would you say?
Yeah, it is. I guess I didn't really consider that. Yeah, it is oddly scandalous. It is like the most overt sexuality the show's maybe shown. Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't care. I guess this is like a big reveal or something and it's supposed to change.
I know
how Jill acted or the episode as a whole. I don't care.
Yeah, we just don't know. I don't know. You can't make us care.
You can't make me care over 20 minutes. I think Jill, I think the whole idea of Jill being so upset about this 20 years later is kind of just dumb in the first place. So the idea that she was wrong and that there's this big twist and it's well, maybe you shouldn't have been such. It didn't do anything for me. I don't care.
Yeah, it wasn't quite the big wrinkle that you were hoping it would be.
I'm more interested in those suit wrinkles, frankly.
Exactly, yeah. Well, that was the point. So, yeah, she just never knew how to tell Jill at the time. At the same time, Tim is just blowing things up over there. Smoke is starting to rise.
It's kind of funny because they're having this serious conversation.
Yeah.
Kind of in the background, centered, you see Tim just really having a tough time, which is funny enough.
Old wounds are being healed, but Tim is opening up others with his fire. So
time heals all wounds, and time wounds all heals, Jordan. That's something you got to remember. Jill says that she would have. Jill says that she would have been there for her if she would have known.
No,
but
she
I feel
wouldn't.
like she would have just been more mad. Like,
Yeah,
this is
she
just
would
like
have
it would have just been more devastating. So, like, I mean, if Jill was, for lack of a better word, petty about this 20 years later, imagine how raw and like wounded she would have felt when she was 18. So, like, I just don't buy the idea that she would have supported her through all of this when she was that young. The scene ends with Tim starting a fire.
And I bet you they will never talk again.
Yeah, there's no way. I mean, what are they gonna? She lives in San Francisco. That's so far away.
Are they going to Skype?
I mean, there's not even Skype technology yet, Jordan. This is 1993.
Yeah, they're never going to talk.
Tim started the fire, and then final
That
scene.
should have been your title.
Gosh, that would have been so much better. Final
hindsight.
scene. They're slow dancing at the reunion. It's revealed that they went to the fire station because the fire was so big.
I like
but
that Jack
everything's
and
been
Tim
cleaned
have
up,
bonded
apparently.
together.
I would like to have seen it.
Yeah, that probably would have been more interesting.
Would have been more interesting. Yeah. This is the last scene. So my question, like, so they're slow dancing and they have like, it ends like, I don't know, 50 out of the 60 episodes of Home Improvement have ended. You know, like they embrace and they're kind of happy. And Jill takes a pot shot at Tim, but they love each other. But there's no real finality in the babysitting subplot. I was thinking, like, last time we saw Al, he was talking to Wilson and he needed to get a key, and then that's it. Like, I think they should have done, like, they should have shown him having the kids under control or something, or having him come in and really take charge, but it just kind of ends, you know?
Yeah, we're just left thinking that Al has hell for the next 2 days.
Al may or may not want to be a father. You know, that's how that ends. But they're dancing, and the camera slowly zooms out, almost an aerial shot. Roll credits fade to black. There's some bloopers I don't want to talk about.
No.
Feud for Thought. Jordan, what are your thoughts on Feud for Thought?
Yeah, not necessarily my favorite episode. Not a lot to it. Like you said, they don't make you... The plot is supposed to be like this big important thing, but they kind of undermine themselves the whole time. Like, they have Tim in the background blowing things up while it's happening, so it's not as serious as they want it to be. Yeah. And also, I mean, we've never heard of Joni before this, and I don't know. It's hard, like you said, it's hard to make you care for something within 20 minutes. There were a couple of funny lines. Gosh, I'm trying to remember that one that I thought was the funniest one.
The crossing guard?
Yeah, the crossing guard one. So not especially great as far as like one-liners in the episode. I just think like the practicality of taking this unexpected like $5,000 road trip to DC is not necessarily a great idea, and I don't know. I guess it was interesting to see Al, like, we see Al doing great things a lot as a babysitter, so it was interesting to see him kind of in trouble. But like you said, there was kind of no ramifications to that, no finality to it. So yeah, just not a great logical episode, and didn't really like it that much.
Jordan, I agree with you on many of those points. You know, it's odd because this one was a different setting and something we haven't seen before, which you would think would maybe equal a more exciting kind of episode. But I really found myself kind of bored throughout this one. It was difficult to get through the second time, and yeah, that you wouldn't think that would be the case just with the kind of unique structure of this one. But yeah, I think like you said, the main conflict, like the Joni Jill thing, like you can't tell me about something minute 3 of an episode and then expect me to just have any real strong feelings for it. Like, by the time she revealed she was pregnant when she was in high school and that Jill was like wrong, or that this woman is more sympathetic than we think, it's just like, well, I don't care. It's only been 10, like, this is 10 minutes later. I just met her in the last scene, and now you're trying to make me feel something for this whole relationship. It just didn't work for me. Jill is, it's not a great Jill episode. She's just, I mean, I guess I was just kind of annoyed with her, I would say. I'm tired of saying petty. I think it's overused in general, but like, she goes to this reunion to see people, but she doesn't want to see Joni, but she does want to see Joni, and it's just like, I don't know, she's kind of hiding from her, and she's sort of cold also. It's kind of just an annoying Jill episode. Al with the kids, I didn't even really like that, because like we said, there wasn't really any closure on that. Like, I want to see Al come in and really take charge, figure things out, or I want to see Al corral the kids, but I don't know, just not that funny, not that interesting, not terrible by any means, not one of the worst ones, but just very, very average, middle of the road, I would say.
I feel like the ones that they make Jill like not makes just like are not compatible with her character that we know for all the rest of the series really bother me.
Yeah, every once in a while they'll have Jill act completely out of her character just to service a plot, and it doesn't really work, especially when you watch the episodes weekly like we do and like, you know, pay special attention to them. You really notice things like this where it's just like, this doesn't seem like the character that we know.
And maybe that's the problem. They don't expect people to spend this much time.
Well, when they made the show, they should have anticipated such a thing as Home and Podcast.
They should have. Yeah, what a mistake.
All right,
the 90s were a different time.
The dream of the 90s is alive in Portland, Jordan. All right, so you want to talk social media? I don't think we have any letters in the mailbag this week, do we?
No. Let's get on to social media. So, if you would like to reach out to us, you can do so. Our website is thehomeandpodcast.com. You can support us there. You can see all of the episodes there. You can send us emails at homeandpodcast@gmail.com. We're on Twitter at homeandpodcast, facebook.com/homeandpodcast. You can find us there. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so in a variety of ways, including leave a free iTunes review. That will certainly help people find us.
Wait a second, Jordan. iTunes reviews don't cost money?
No, they're free. They just take your time. So
Cool.
We even have a link directly to where you can leave your review on our blog if you just look at any of our episodes. And if you want to support us monetarily, everything helps keep up with the costs that we have to deal with hosting episodes and podcasting, all that sorts of stuff. You can do so by going to our website with the support tab or patreon.com/homeandpodcast, just like Mark did. So thanks again, Mark, for sponsoring this episode.
Jordan, is there anything you'd like me to talk about right now?
Not really. Let's just move on to the question of the week.
Wait a second, Jordan. Come on. I want to talk about Twitter. All right. Okay, so last week's episode was called... What was last week's episode called? I seem to have forgotten.
I don't know.
How do we forget so fast?
How would I possibly remember?
A frozen moment. At TrueBrandon32 says, you should have named the episode Toilet Humor. I say get your own podcast. Other thoughts? Probably the other big thing was related to the polls. So, which Thanksgiving side dish do you prefer? 22 total votes, which is shocking. 27% said stuffing. 28% said something besides mashed potatoes and gravy or stuffing. And 45% said mashed potatoes and gravy. So about half prefer that as their favorite side dish.
Did you say what yours is?
I voted mashed potatoes and gravy. What'd you vote?
I voted other. I like sweet potatoes.
You would. Other poll, and this is related mostly to you, Jordan, and kind of your big faux pas last week. So we had this great man's bathroom set, and I was really impressed by it. And you were kind of against it. You were just you were chugging on haterade most of last week's episode, even though it was just a fantastic app. The question was, are you impressed by the man's bathroom on Tool Time? 19 votes. 5% said no. 95% said yes. And one person, actually this week's sponsor, Mark Volbeck, reached out and said that, Jordan, you just have to find the fun. So,
listen,
Jordan, what's wrong with you?
Listen, I'm not afraid to go against the grain, and I'm not going to change my opinions for anybody. So.
You don't think outside the box, Jordan? You are the box.
I created the box.
All right. So other than that, we got quite a few people reaching out this week, and keep doing that. So there'll be more polls and photos and GIFs and other things of that nature on Twitter. So reach out, support the show, donate, give us iTunes reviews. They are free. And that'll be that.
That'll be that. All right. Now, can I move on to the question of the week?
Sure, Jordan.
All right, Adam, we are going to take a trip down memory lane. This episode is mostly about a high school reunion. We went to high school together. Do you remember that?
We went to high school together, Jordan, yeah.
Sure you do remember. I wanted to know some significant memories that stand out from your high school years so long ago.
No, this is a little bit different than what I was told you're going to ask me. Do you want these memories to be related to you and I, or just me?
Perhaps it would be more interesting if people could imagine what you and I were together like in high school.
Okay, all right, that's better. Okay, so Jordan, my memories of you and I, from a school perspective, are as follows. Probably my greatest memory with you would be a biology. Was it biology or anatomy? Which one? Anatomy,
it was anatomy and physiology.
Anatomy and physiology class. We had first period with a teacher that I don't know that either one of us was real fond of. Were we mischievous? I don't think so, but I feel like that was maybe like the most trouble I got in a high school class. I recall during we sat together near the back, as the bad boys often do, right, Jordan?
Yeah.
And I remember we were talking during Channel 1, which was a program that the school forced us to watch every morning for about 10 years. And we were talking, and the teacher made us as if to prove a point, made us sit on the floor as if we were children because we were talking during Channel 1. So we sat down on the floor and watched the rest of the program.
Boy, was your face red.
But no, I don't think it was. I think it actually, I think it backfired on it because I think it really just drew more attention to us than the program, and everybody just kind of thought it was funny.
And I think we could probably keep talking because he couldn't see us.
Because we were on the floor. So that struck me as being odd and borderline inhumane, I would say.
It was inhumane. It was what we did in that class.
We dissected a cat, and as I look at I have a cat sitting right in front of me right now.
Oh,
it's
no.
a sweeter angel I've never seen. But that was an odd thing we did, and everybody did it, and it was very, very gross.
Well, I think what made it worse is we made cat noises, and we named it Jasper Geppetto Brasky.
Jasper.
It had quite the personality.
Brasky after Bill Brasky, which was an important part of our high school experience. Geppetto after the cat from Meet the Parents. Jasper after, you tell me. I don't know.
I don't know.
I have no idea. But we did make a lot of cat noises, and we would maybe tell people that the cats had come back to life, which they hadn't. But we
I
thought
also
it was really
think
funny.
We completely ruined the cat.
The
Because
very
we didn't follow
first
the directions.
day of that unit, we did something wrong, and the entire project was virtually ruined, I believe. But it was a dumb project. Yeah, that was an odd thing. I would not want to do that now.
No.
I can't imagine like someone. Let's say you had like I didn't have a cat then, but let's say you're a 16, 17-year-old student and you really love cats and you have a fondness for it, and you have a school project where you have to dissect a cat. It seems objectionable. I don't know. I feel like that does. I
messes
feel like
with your brain.
There's some issues there, but we did that. Otherwise, I don't know that we had a lot of class together. We sat together at lunch and played a lot of basketball.
We did things
and stuff.
outside of class,
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, yeah, Jordan. Let me flip the script. What are your memories?
Well, outside of class, I'm thinking about the several clubs and things that we started. The NLA, the National Legitimacy Association.
Yeah, a lot of like nerdy kind of not that cool or interesting stuff. We spent a lot of time in your basement, just like on MySpace, and like we made like silly videos and prank called people and like sporadically would egg
You made some really good
houses.
videos that you made the uploader take down from YouTube because you were afraid.
I don't want these high school videos following me around the rest of my life. So I had the YouTube admin
Whereas
take down
I really
some
wanted to like make them private so at least I could watch them when
Yeah, that is true. If I could do it all over again. We made this video called I guess Legendary Ninja 2 was probably the one that was like the most popular, and in my head,
sequel.
In my head, the whole school was talking about it. I don't think that's accurate, but
Legendary Ninja 3 wasn't very good because I wasn't in it.
Yeah, Legendary Ninja 3 wasn't very good. Legendary Ninja 2, I would say very early YouTube. Davison had not seen anything quite like it, and it did garner quite a bit of attention early on.
Naturally,
but it went away, and I wanted it to be gone forever, so I had it taken down.
The two things that people talked about in high school were that song, the Grizz song. And
Matt Slazak's song that he recorded called Dipping Grizz, which was all about chewing tobacco, which was actually pretty good, I would say.
And Legendary Ninja.
Yeah, those are like the two Davison products, so yeah, it's good to be part of one.
Don't forget the iJob documentary.
That one I don't stand by at all. But Legendary Ninja 2 was just good, clean fun. So
yeah, can you imagine what Ben would make now with his video editing skills?
I always wanted us to go back and make another video, but those Webbers are tough to corral, I would say at best. I would say unreliable, inconsistent at worst. But That's it. That's our high school experience. So it's always interesting to hear two guys talk about high school, right, Jordan?
Yeah, we love to hear. We want to hear your favorite or maybe least favorite part about high school. So
no,
tweet
choose
us.
your favorite memories of ours. Tweet us and say which one you liked the which thing we did that you liked the most.
I know what next week's poll is going to be.
Wow. All right, Jordan, what are we covering next week, and what do we think it's going to be about?
Yeah, all right. So the episode title for next week is "'Twas the Blight Before Christmas." So we've got our Christmas episode. And I've got something written down if you want to take a second to think about what's going to happen in your mind.
Yeah, you start, I'll get in it.
All right. So in "'Twas the Blight Before Christmas," there's going to be a scarcity of Christmas trees around suburban Detroit due to a ravenous plant disease. So Tim's going to use this opportunity to build the man's Christmas tree, and he will make a tree out of it'll have like a stainless steel rod, and then maybe like attached around, like for the branches will be kind of like, well, I thought of this just because it's like right next to me, is like corrugated shutters, like hurricane shutters. They can be flat and wavy. And then maybe some like ornaments that are like bacon themed or meat themed or sports themed or tools themed. And then maybe he'll top it, instead of with an angel, it'll be like the wooden dummy from season 2 that they had. And I don't really know what's going to happen in that episode besides the man's Christmas tree, though. That's all I got.
That's really interesting, Jordan. I wasn't able to absorb a lot of it because I was thinking of my own, but it sounds complex. Okay. "'Twas the Blight Before Christmas." I had to look up what blight meant. I think that was also taking me a second. So there is a plague. Are you with me? There's a plague.
I'm
virus.
with you.
Are you with me so far?
Yeah.
There's a plague or a virus that sweeps suburban Detroit, leaving everyone sick, bedridden. Christmas is in jeopardy. There's no one to work at the stores. There's no one to work in retail. No one can sell presents, and people are too sick to buy presents. So suburban Detroit must band together and celebrate. This is so bad, I can't think of anything. Suburban Detroit must band together, find the elixir, and heal up before midnight on Christmas Eve so that they can have a great Christmas day.
Boy, that sounds like post-apocalyptic.
It's Apocalypto meets Home Improvement. No, I
Christmas with the Cranks.
Sure. Your guess is as good as mine. So that is my prediction.
Sounds like it's going to be a not so happy Christmas this time around.
Well, you know what? This is season 3, so they need to try something different.
All right. Well, we look forward to finding out what the Blight is all about next week.
I'm pretty sure I'm right. So I don't even know if I'll watch it. I'll probably just operate under the idea that my premise is correct, and then just sort of fill in the blanks.
Should make for an interesting recap.
I think so. All right. Well, Jordan, let's end this one. So, Jordan, thank you for joining me. Listeners, thank you for listening, and I guess I should say take care.
Take care, everybody.